Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here and to be part of a very important conference, and I appreciate being invited also onto the panel. I'm going to talk then, as was mentioned, about more or less aluminum context in the automotive industry. My co-authors are listed, and I'll get right into the outline then. I'm going to first cover some societal trends that are providing automotive drivers, so to speak, those things that are shaping the automotive industry. And I'll particularly stick to energy efficiency because that's quite relevant for aluminum usage and increased aluminum usage in the future. And then what I'd like to do in the second half of the talk is dive more deeply into various semi-structural and structural systems on automotive vehicles, and what are the challenges and opportunities for aluminum in those particular areas, and I'll provide some summarizing comments after that. So to start right out, when you look at the global human activity in terms of energy flows, this chart presents it quite nicely. The left-hand side, far left, is basically your sources of energy. Renewable at the top, hydroelectric, wind, etc. And those aren't providing, generally speaking, as much energy. And then you come down to the fossil fuels or non-renewable fuels on the far left. And you can see then that petroleum provides a great portion of that amount of fuel. The units are listed here. They're quad BTUs, so they're quite large numbers. The challenge for the automotive industry and the transportation sector in particular is that about a third of the energy, and I apologize if that different versions of PowerPoint, so we may see some font changes in the slides going on from what I have in my files to what's on the computer. But at any rate, about a third of the world's energy comes from petroleum, oil specifically, and about 100%, almost 96% of that energy is used for transportation. So that's the challenge for transportation. Now, if we look at how any commodity is utilized by society, it basically scales in use for the most part with the per capita gross domestic product. And shown here is any energy consumption, but you could plot almost any commodity on the ordinate and then per capita GDP on the abscissa, and you can see an almost monotonic relationship. So the obvious concern, the obvious concern in this kind of plot is that it's not sustainable in terms of countries that right now are at a lower GDP, so on the lower left, are moving up to the upper right, and then you are going to be utilizing more energy. That's shown here in the world population, shown as the vertical blue bars going with the left ordinate, and then the increase in the vehicle car park. This is the total number of vehicles on Earth. It's an estimate shown by the yellow line, and you can see the projection is quite significant. It's about a 12% growth per year. So there's another sort of nuance to personal transportation specifically, and that is it's almost a single linear trend on a log-log plot in terms of the vehicle miles traveled per GDP. So it's again that same commodity relationship with per capita GDP. So North America is shown by this upper black line at the very top of the plot here. And then if it comes down to developing nations, they're shown down here, but they're basically following this same trend line up. And it's interesting, this article points out that if everybody were to travel by air travel, and you're limited by issues around, for example, supersonic speeds, you'd be up at the apex point up here, so maybe we can look forward to the Jetsons' future coming at us.